Well, hello. Today I want to talk about a couple of different things. The first thing that I want to mention is that this week is National Eating Disorder Awareness Week. And eating disorders can be so difficult. When I was doing my bodybuilding shows, I completed the first one. And once I completed the first one, I went through a pretty tough time. My marriage broke up. And when you spend that much time restricting what you can eat. And before I had done the bodybuilding show, I had actually lost about 60 some odd pounds with Jenny Craig over the course of a year and a half. So pretty much once that Jenny Craig experience was complete, I jumped right into doing a bodybuilding show. So I had been restricting food for upwards of 2 years. And when the show ends, my marriage ends, I am starting a new relationship. I'm still living with my ex. And there is so much going on. And I start binging. Not just emotional eating, not just eating a little bit too much, but serious binging. I could have an entire box of cereal in one sitting. I could eat containers of ice cream. I did eat containers of cookies. I would eat so much that my stomach would hurt. And because of the experience I had just had, I felt that the only way to rid myself of these calories and the guilt and shame I felt from eating them was to jump on a treadmill and work out at the gym for hours. So clearly there was a lot I wasn't dealing with. I went to a therapist at this point. I began to realize that there was problems. On the other front, but very connected front, I was slowly seeing my weight creep up. So I kept a whiteboard in my room, and every couple of days I would weigh myself, and I just kept seeing this number go up and up and up. And you have to remember, I had been 2+ years where my weight was going down. So all of a sudden, my weight's going up. This was devastating. This was more devastating to me at the time than the breakup of my marriage and the fact that I was still living with my ex. That's how wrapped up I was in what was going on. And I went and saw a therapist. I think I thought she would just kind of hand me the book and say, "Here, you're fixed. Don't worry about it. Jump back on another diet. Everything's fine. It's going to be fine." That's not what happened. And instead, we went through a few sessions, and she suggested that I begin to work with a nutritionalist and start in with an eating disorder support group. This freaked the shit out of me. I couldn't do it. And instead, I jumped into doing another bodybuilding show. Maybe not so smart. So what I want to say during this National Eating Disorder Awareness Week is that if you are going through an eating disorder, it can be terrifying. And there can be things that we do and say and are happening that we don't even recognize them as terrifying and heartbreak because we're so wrapped up in the food. And I want to tell you, you will heal. If you want to heal, you will heal. And to just never give up hope. Find the courage to keep going with whatever it is that you're doing to help you with the feelings and emotions that are coming up during your time. Today's topic is about morning rituals or daily routines, and I actually think that this is a great starting point if you are going through disordered eating. maybe consider spending some time with yourself. That can be really difficult and very challenging if you're going through the throes of something in terms of disordered eating. But if you can take some time to spend some time with yourself, I think that you will find it invaluable. So with that, I'm going to jump into today's topic of a morning routine. Do you have one? If you don't have one, I'm going to make a little case for doing one. The first thing I'm going to say is that we need to connect to ourselves. We need some time to begin to connect to that inner voice. So we spend a lot of time during the day doing. Your mind is constantly wrapping itself around the next item on the to-do list. It's constantly thinking of what kinds of things you need to be working on. That inner voice that's inside of you, some call it the intuition, the gut, it doesn't have a lot of opportunity to talk to you. And this is why so many of us spend time making mistakes going, oh, my gut was trying to tell me something there. So by spending a little bit of time in the morning connecting with that inner voice, you can begin to recognize it a little easier as you go through the rest of your day. In terms of eating and trying to stop the dieting cycle, this inner voice can begin to help us to listen to our bodies. Again, we spend so much time physically doing things during the day, we don't really want to think about what's going on in our bodies. And this inner voice will allow us to begin to connect with not just hunger cues. And I think that those hunger cues are very, very important to be able to recognize when you're hungry and recognize when you're full. But also things like, do I feel like a workout today? What type of a workout do I need to be doing? That type of a thing. The last reason I think a morning ritual or some time in the morning to spend with yourself is so important is that it is an ability to connect with your goals and dreams. So if you're a type A like me, chances are good you've written out your goals over here. And this is a really good opportunity to be able to keep them forefront of your thoughts during the day. If you can just put them into your head at the beginning of the day. If you're not a type A personality, or you're even the type of person who is a type A personality, but you don't allow yourself to dream, to think about the things that you want to do in your life many years down the road, or how you want your life to look down the road. And a morning routine is a great way to connect to that. So one second. I have a very anxious little puppy here. So we need to give ourselves that space to listen. I am not saying that the only way to be able to get up in the morning and have it be productive and have you connect to yourself is by meditating. I think there's a lot of people that think that that's what you have to do in the mornings if you're going to get up early. And I don't think that at all. I think meditating is great and fantastic, and it's wonderful if you can do it in the morning because then it makes sure that you're kind of going to do it, right? But there's so many other ways to connect to yourself. These include things like praying, or just taking a cup of coffee and daydreaming, or going for a walk outside. All of these things are a great way to just take a moment for yourself. Maybe a morning ritual or a morning daily routine is not something that'll fit your lifestyle. You work shift work, you have to get up so early, there's just no way you could put something into place. Sorry, that's my other dog right now who's trying to get up onto my lap. I've already got one on there. But I'm going to encourage you to try to find a daily ritual that fits into your day somewhere that allows you that space. And if you can find that space, I hope that you use it to begin to connect with yourself in all kinds of different ways. Thank you so much for listening, and love yourself first and always.